All right. Well, with the time being upon us, I will go ahead and start us out and welcome everyone to the very first Discover Rotary session by the Rotary Club of 5 Points. And I want to thank everyone for joining us. And I am Andrew Folks, the membership chair, and I'll be kind of hosting this extravaganza today. But just real quick, I would like my fellow Rotarians on the call to just to briefly introduce themselves, and then I will share my screen and we'll run through the presentation and go from there. Anyway, yeah, why don't we start with you, Madam President?
Yes. So, hey everyone, my name is Marshall Minton. I am the current president of the Rotary Club of 5 Points. I have had the pleasure of serving as president for the 2020-2021 year during a time of COVID, which has been very interesting. I've been a member of the Rotary Club for 7 years and have really enjoyed the work that we've done, the fellowship that we've been able to experience with other members of the club, as well as members of the district, which you'll hear more about in Andrew's presentation.
Mm-hmm. And Epiphany, what? She's there. You
go. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Epiphany Keels. I keep wanting to say the newest member of 5 Points Rotary Club, but not anymore. We've got some new members this year. So I'm actually coming up on 2 years of membership. It'll be in August, and actually had courted a few clubs before I decided on 5 Points Rotary. I felt right at home the minute I got there. So I think my most lovable thing about the club is probably just the sense of community that we have, and that sense that we bring to our community through our service projects and obviously our philanthropy and things like that. So we're very excited to have you guys join us today.
I'll go next. I'm Michael Duck. I've been a Rotary member for I think about 3 years now in September. Love the club. Behind me is Segra Park, where we used to meet pre-COVID. The the Zoom meetings have been interesting this year. It's been convenient. It's been nice for just being able to squeeze a meeting in when you may not have been able to meet in person. But I can't wait to get back to Segra Park and start seeing everyone in person again. So thanks everybody for coming, and look forward to meeting you all in person soon.
Great. Thank you all so much. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'll share my screen now, and we will get into the program. Okay, and can you see the PowerPoint? Excellent. All right. Well, welcome to Discover Rotary. We'll talk quickly about our flow today. We're going to talk about Rotary at the international, the district, and then the club level. And we'll talk about next steps. And really the key takeaways from this time is, to give a sense of the scale of Rotary, because it's pretty large and awesome. Maybe you'll see a service area of interest. And at the end, of course, we hope you just say, hey, that was just a good hour spent of fellowship and learning. So Rotary, what is it? It's an international membership organization that's engaged in humanitarian service. It has high ethical standards, strives for goodwill and peace in the world. And there are 1.2 million Rotarians and 35,000 clubs in 200 countries all around the world. And it is neighbors and friends and problem solvers that are coming together, sharing ideas, taking action, and working for lasting change. And you see that in Rotary's vision here. This is a wonderful binding statement of what we seek to achieve as a collective and locally and globally. The Rotary International President this year is Holger Mack from Germany. He is behind the theme that you see in the upper left of the screen, Rotary Opens Opportunities, because of his belief that Rotary isn't just a club that you join, but an invitation to endless opportunities. And I think he's spot on. As we'll see in these coming slides, there is just so much opportunity in Rotary. In this slide, you see in that upper right corner, our world famous logo recognized all around. And you see in these pictures, you get a sense of Rotary. And this is really the truth. Every minute of every day, Rotary is making some kind of service, feeding, housing, educating, vaccinating. Something of those types is happening somewhere in the world thanks to Rotary. So how did we get started? Attorney Paul Harris is the founder of Rotary. He and 3 other gentlemen were meeting for fellowship, and they would rotate among their offices, rotate that fellowship, thus the name Rotary. This took place in Chicago, Illinois, and Chicago is still the, the physical home of Rotary, and in some ways the spiritual as well. The first Rotary International or National Convention was held in Chicago. The offices of Rotary International are located in the suburbs of Chicago today. I love this slide because I love the part at the bottom, and it's true. Rotary, by the numbers, it's just as easy as 4, 5, and 7. The 4-way test, the 5 avenues of service, and the 7 areas of focus. But you'll see it's all intended to improve lives here in Columbia and around the world. The 4-way test is used by Rotarians everywhere. It's the moral code for personal and business relationships, and you can really apply that to any aspect of life that you choose. It was developed by a gentleman named Herbert Taylor to take a company that he worked at out of bankruptcy, but it was later adopted as the Rotary, for Rotary use. And we use it at each club meeting. It is a really cool thing. There are 5 avenues of Rotary service. There's club service, which we want Rotary clubs that are characterized by strong leadership, great fellowship, membership growth. Vocational service, we want to put our vocational skills and abilities to work for Rotary. We want to serve our community service, and we want to improve the lives of folks all around the world, our international service. And of course, we want to develop future Rotarians' youth service. 7 areas of focus. These are the critical humanitarian causes that Rotarians have been working on for many, many years. And we will unpack these a little bit more. Peace and conflict prevention. 70 million people around the world are displaced because of violence and human rights persecutions. Many of those people are children. Rotarians just do not accept that as a way of life. Conflict is not a way of life. To combat that, our programs help to foster understanding within and across cultures. And we also use a lot of money to help train adults and young leaders in conflict mediation, conflict prevention, and just in humanitarian aid, people who have become refugees in dangerous areas around the world. Disease, polio, malaria, AIDS, Alzheimer's, MS, diabetes, all those have been on our hit list. Rotary is big on fighting disease, improving low-cost healthcare all around the world. Water. I am not a civil engineer or any kind of engineer, but I know if you don't have water, you are in enormous trouble. Clean water, sanitation, hygiene, and the education that goes with that is needed and imperative in the developing world. Rotary has a lot of programs to mitigate those things. And a lot of them are, well, they are sustainable. In other words, if Rotarians go and install a well, they also train the folks receiving the well so that the system stays in place and is sustainable for the long term. Mothers and children. Rotary seeks to expand quality health care for mothers and children so that people have the chance for a healthy future. And a lot of this is centered around getting rid of things that are preventable, such as, malnutrition, poor sanitation at the birth site, etc. Supporting education, of course, particularly literacy and gender disparity in literacy and education is an important Rotary thing, and increasing adult literacy. That is a pretty sobering statistic. 75 million people over the age of 15 are illiterate. Rotary is trying to do things to take care of that. Growing local economies, economic development. Again, working across the world, microloans in particular are part of this, where folks can leverage those into sustainable, productive, quality businesses in their local environment. And speaking of environment, the last area of focus is support for the environment. The fact is that Rotarians have been working on that for a long, long time. But by crystallizing it into this area of focus, it helps us as an organization just find more ways to increase our global impact and extend our reach. A very, very important slide here, the Rotary Foundation. It is the charitable arm of Rotary International, and it is the funding fuel that makes all the stuff we just went through happen. It funds the education and the humanitarian efforts that we do to make the world better. Since the Rotary Foundation has been founded, it has donated $4 billion to sustainable service projects all over the world. And 92% of foundation funds are spent on programs, which is wonderful. When my fellow Rotarians and I, when we send our donations to the Rotary Foundation, it feels good knowing that the lion's share of that donation is truly going to go out into the field and make a difference for somebody. And you can't talk about Rotary without talking about polio. In 1985, Rotary International decided that they were going to eradicate polio from the face of the earth, join with the health establishments and the government establishments to eliminate it forever. You can see there 99.9%. We are almost there. I think there are 3 countries, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Nigeria, that still have that wild, 2, okay? Now we're down to 2. 2 countries with that wild polio virus still there, still need to eradicate that. But we're going after it hard. And you see Bill Gates there on the screen. Rotary International has a partnership with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, helping us to leverage matching dollars that are helping us get this job done. Youth programs. The simple fact is Rotary sends a lot of young people all around the world, exchanging people, exchanging cultures, helping cultures to understand each other. The Peace Fellowships and the Rotary grants and scholarships. People can take graduate level studies in universities across the world, and they have to do it in one of those areas of service that we mentioned. Program, and incredibly impressive young people take advantage of that. Also, let's see here. Hang on with me. I'm going to change I'm getting a signal here that my internet. Okay, there we go. Get back to it. Pardon that. Okay, back. Anyway, and you see at the bottom, Rotaract and Interact clubs. Interact is the high school level Rotary. Rotaract is the university level Rotary clubs, but lots of youth programs. We'll talk about Rotary now at the district level. We are in Rotary District 7770, which is one of the largest and most effective Rotary districts in the world. It's the 25 eastern counties of South Carolina, 79 clubs. You see the woman in the middle of the screen, Pauline Levesque, is our district governor. She's from Myrtle Beach. Our Rotary clubs throughout the district do all kinds of community service work. They build nature trails, give blood, put in safe stairs, build houses, bikes to local police, you name it. We got a Rotary club that's doing something. More wonderful examples here, food pantries, literacy projects. And I want to talk about the logo in the upper left, Coins for Alzheimer's Research Trust, or CART. There's a Rotarian in Sumter, and I'm not sure if it was his personal or his professional life where he became aware of this, but he became aware that in the Alzheimer's research world, there was a gap where some of the more, I guess you could call it, riskier treatment options and things, scientists could not get funding to study those things. I don't think it was because of anything discriminatory or negative. I think it's just how the funding streams were set up. But anyway, this gentleman was aware of that need. So he got simple blue buckets and started putting them on the table of his Rotary Club. Rotarians started sprinkling their spare change in that. Well, they built that money up to where it's basically now an endowment, a massive amount of principal invested. And then the interest of that is donated as grants, and it funds some of the more, again, riskier, but more cutting edge Alzheimer's research, Alzheimer's treatment research efforts. Basically, putting more tools on the table to fight this disease. And it's literally started in Sumter, South Carolina with a simple blue bucket. Really cool stuff. And clubs across the district have all kinds of fun events to raise money for their various charities. You can see a lot of them there on the screen. The one that I don't see, and I'm surprised, and maybe they're not doing it anymore, but there's a Rotary Club down in the Low Country who used to take a bunch of rubber ducks and put an X on one of them and then dump them in a creek, and they would float down, and whichever one, I guess, landed in this net, they would you'd win a prize. But it was really fun. I know I bought some ducks over the course of the year. I didn't win that, but the currents were not in my favor. But there are a lot of good things going on. So let's talk about the club that is the host today, the Rotary Club of 5 Points, founded in 1954, one of the 17 plus Rotary clubs here in the Columbia metro area. You might be wondering, as you see with Michael's background, why we don't meet in 5 Points. And that's because there's just no meeting space that can handle the size of our club right now. But we still maintain our connections to the area by participating in the St. Patrick's Day parade when it happens. And we often invite the speaker of the 5 Points Association to come to the club and give a program. And we do service projects in that area of the city. And yes, as you've heard, we do have a great venue for our club meetings. Great place to gather, lots of fun. Right now, we're in the Zoom pivot like everyone else. You can see an example of that on the slide. But club meetings are held most Fridays, 1 to 2 p.m. at Seger Park during our regular non-pandemic times. We have really interesting programs. Every Rotary meeting, you're going to have a program of about 20 or 25 minutes. This is just a sampling here on this slide of the kinds of people and programs we've enjoyed. The USC Men's Chorus, Dr. James Clark, who is the president of South Carolina State University. You see politician James Smith there. Now, Rotary is not a political organization, but we've had all kinds of folks. I mean, Jim DeMint, Tim Scott, Jim Clyburn, Mark Sanford, they've all come and spoken at our club in the last, 10 to 15 years or so. They come all the time. So that is, part of the program. And then I added the final woman you see there on the screen. That is former New Jersey governor and EPA administrator, Christine Todd Whitman. That's wild that she would come to a club in Columbia, South Carolina, but she did. So very, very interesting programs. Our primary service project, which is Gamecock Parking. So every year, our club parks cars at Gamecock home football games. We raise through that well over $100,000. We give most of that to South Carolina Educational Television because they own the parking lot, but also because they're an awesome nonprofit too. ETV rocks. So we're happy to do that. Now, there are usually funds left over, probably $30,000 or so, give or take. And the club disperses those out to nonprofits within the Midlands region. And we do not just throw those grants out lightly. We have a group within the club that studies all the applications because you have to apply. They make recommendations, and it really helps us increase our impact. You can see President Marshall is featured handing one of our donations there to St. Lawrence Place here in the Midlands. just a few of the benefits of being a Rotarian. One I like to say, and well, this is really bullets 1 and 2 on our screen. But I tell people this is my take. I tell folks, if you want to make a difference in some kind of cause or some kind of project, it could be down the street from you. It could be in Fiji. I guarantee you there is something within the Rotary network organization that you can leverage and use to do that project, meet that need, whatever it is. Rotary has a lot. Friendships. I think this is probably true for many of us. If we did not have Rotary, we would not, the group and some of the folks within it, we may never see in the other walks of our life. So you can really make some wonderful friends in Rotary. And of course, I mentioned, we've already said it, but regular programs by people who are experts in their field, and you really get to know a lot of neat stuff about local, state, even national issues from time to time. I think this is a great, as we get here toward the close of our PowerPoint, a great thing. If you have the love of your fellow men in your heart, then you're a potential Rotarian. Paul Harris, our founder, that was his quote, and it is a really good one. So what do we do now? Where do we go from here? First, I'm going to email you all this stuff, but we'll just run through this list. We'd love to have you join one of our virtual club meetings. Just sit in and experience a Rotary meeting with us. When we go back to face-to-face meetings, you can attend that if you'd like. Read more about Rotary online. There is a lot of information. Our club has a website, the district, Rotary International. There are a lot of things you can read to learn more. If you're ready, we'll be happy to send you a new member application. It's electronic. You fill it in, and that kind of begins the process of club membership. There's a process to becoming a Rotarian. It's not, you just fill out the application and let's roll. But we take you through that, and we will be there for you. And I want to thank you all for attending and for your interest. And I will stop the screen sharing now, and we will move if there are any questions.
Oh, I had one. I saw how the state is broken. So like half this, is Richmond County kind of down? Is that kind of the half that district that we're in?
Sure. Let's see. I might be able to pull that back up too.
It looks like it broke right at the Midlands, kind of. That's what I was wondering.
They basically, yes, they use the fall line is basically the border. Let me see here if I can. Oops. Yeah. Well, actually, I'm not going. But yes, they really, the fall line across the state generally is the border, and the upper part of South Carolina is Rotary 7750. But I'm so glad you asked that question, Andy, because I can expand upon that. Once you're a Rotarian, you can go to any Rotary meeting anywhere in the world, and I highly recommend that you do so. I tell everybody when I sit down to have a Rotary talk with a prospective new member, I flat out tell them, I'm like, you got to take a day off from work and you got to go to that Rotary Club up in Greenville, the Greenville Rotary Club, because it's awesome. I mean, it's like somebody took everybody in Greenville, South Carolina, who was some kind of power broker, and threw them all together in one room. And, you get to stand up and say, hey, I'm Andrew Folks, 5 Points Rotary, Columbia, South Carolina. And it's just a neat experience. But we've had Rotarians go to club meetings on cruise ships in all kinds of countries all over the world. And that's what really makes it fun and special. I don't think I've been to a Rotary meeting outside of our state, but I have thoroughly enjoyed those that I've attended over in Lugoff, but even over, down in Charleston, Greenville, Florence. I think I've been to Aiken. Anyway, so you will be welcome at any of those. But yes, they have moved to South Carolina. They have split us in the middle. And yeah, we've been rolling with that. I'm not sure when they formed those districts, but my father is a Rotarian in Lancaster, and they're in 7750. So.
Well, I just want to provide an example of kind of what we're doing from a current perspective and the impact we're able to make both internationally and in our state. And the best example I can think of right now is COVID. It consumed our lives for the past year. And I just got an email today from President Mack, the president of Rotary International. And while Rotary International is still very committed to ending polio and eradicating those two last countries that we have, they're able to also use the infrastructure that we've put in place with polio to deliver vaccines, COVID vaccines, to all of those countries that desperately need it. And so they will continue to work with the Gates Foundation on that role as well. So that's from an international perspective. But from a local perspective, we've created something called Rotary Ready, and we're working with the hospitals, MUSC, Prisma, I think there are a few others that we're working with, McLeod, that we're serving as the volunteer pipeline for vaccine clinics, making sure that we're able to get vaccines into all of the rural areas of our state and in our community. And so that's just one way that you can leverage all of these thousands and I guess millions internationally of people together working to do one thing to help both our local communities and an international level. So it's great to be a part of it. And I'm very proud to be a Rotarian. I'm a 5th generation Rotarian. I'm the first female of those, but both my great-grandfather, grandfather, and father were, and then above that, we're all presidents of the Florence Rotary Club. So I'm in their footsteps, president of 5 Points.
Marshall, thank you for sharing that. I actually never knew that about you, so I learned a lot today.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I will share that my great grandfather, for whom I am named, was a Rotarian in Dillon, South Carolina, and his perfect attendance was very important to him. Now, I don't have perfect attendance. I have miserably failed on that. And we do not expect perfect attendance from our members. There is a minimum of attendance, which if we get to the stage where we're talking more about membership, you and I will talk about that. But anyway, his perfect attendance was very important. So important that when he became ill, his Rotary Club held Rotary meetings in his hospital room in the Catholic hospital, what was the Catholic hospital there in Dillon. We are not Catholic, it just happens to be the hospital. But anyway, they held Rotary meetings in his hospital room so that he can maintain his perfect attendance. I just think that's awesome. And as if you do join Rotary, I'm sure you'll have your own Rotary story at some point. But it is just a wonderful organization and a lot of fun, and you get to do and be exposed to a lot of cool things. Epiphany, did you have anything else you?
I don't know that I had anything else to add. What I will say, don't be intimidated if you are not a multi-generation Rotarian. I'm a first generation Rotarian, so we need those as well. But it is nice to be in a club with perhaps members who are well connected within Rotary and kind of also bringing that experience from those other clubs as well. So that's great.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Well, we're going to get everyone off to their Friday even earlier, but that's always a good thing. Rotary, and speaking of endings, something to know about Rotary. When we do have our regular meetings, they end precisely at 2:00. When that hour hits, Rotary is over. It's just how we've done things and how we've done it. So if you're time conscious, and we probably all are. I mean, time is very important, but Rotary is very respectful of time. When we do have our regular meetings or even our Zoom meetings, we handle our business, we have our fellowship, we enjoy our program, but then we shut it off and get back to work and or whatever it is we're doing. But anyway, thank you all so much for taking this time to be with us today. Thank you to my fellow Rotarians, my technical guru and buddy, Michael Duck, who put all the technical framework together for this. And it's just, I really appreciate it. This was a team effort. And for those of you who are our discoverers, I will be in touch with additional information, and you can ask me questions or send me anything you need at any time. But with that, we will get on to our Friday. Thank you all and have a good one.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you.
Thanks. You did a great job.
Yeah, enjoyed it. Thanks.